He stumbled upon a trembling bar dancer on the street, and what he learned turned his whole world upside down. A biting cold settled over the night, compelling even the most resolute to pull their jackets tighter. David, however, wasn't focused on the chill. His old sedan purred softly, headlights piercing the dense fog as he drove along the near-deserted road. It was one of those winter evenings where silence felt unusually heavy, pressing against the windows like an unseen burden. He was exhausted from a long day at work, yet an odd alertness kept him on edge, as if destiny had laid a subtle trap for his attention. That's when he spotted her. Initially, he dismissed it as a mere shadow at the roadside. But as his car drew closer, the headlights illuminated a young woman, slender and shaking uncontrollably. She wore a short sequin dress, clearly meant for dimly lit clubs and loud music, not for streets shrouded in fog and biting wind. Her arms were wrapped tightly around herself, bare legs trembling, hair clinging to her damp face. David's first impulse was to drive past. It wasn't uncommon to see people in distress in the city, and most drivers simply did. But his hands instinctively slowed on the steering wheel, his heart thudding with a strange unease. There was a painful fragility in her stance, like a bird with a broken wing. Defying his own logic, he pulled over a few feet ahead. He lowered the passenger side window. "Hey, are you okay?" His voice was gentle, cautious. The woman raised her head. Mascara streaked down her cheeks, her eyes swollen from either tears or sheer exhaustion. She hesitated, biting her lip as if even a simple answer was too monumental a decision. "I'm fine," she whispered, her voice reedy and unconvincing. David frowned. "You don't look fine. You'll freeze out here." Her eyes flickered with distrust. People rarely offered kindness without an ulterior motive, a lesson she had learned painfully well. "I don't need help," she mumbled, though her teeth chattered with each word. For a moment David considered leaving. But then he noticed her hands shaking uncontrollably, and how she tried to stand tall but kept shuffling her feet, as if her strength was ebbing away. He sighed, stepped out of the car and shrugged off his own coat. "Here," he said, extending it. "At least take this." She initially shook her head, shame clouding her expression, but her body betrayed her pride. She was freezing and finally, with hesitant fingers, she accepted the coat and wrapped it tightly around herself. The warmth seemed to thaw something within her, though her eyes remained wary. "Thank you," she barely audible. "You're welcome." David studied her for a moment, trying to decipher the untold story in her silence. He didn't press. "There's a cafe just around the corner. It's warm, they have good tea. Let me take you there, at least until you feel better." Her first reaction was to refuse again, but her lips trembled as another gust of wind swept by. Weariness washed over her features. Slowly she nodded. Inside the car, the heater hummed as David drove her toward the cafe. A heavy silence hung between them, thick with unsaid words. He noticed her staring out the window, her reflection appearing fragile and distant, as though she wished to disappear into the dark glass. When they reached the cafe, a warm yellow glow spilled onto the sidewalk, a small beacon in the cold night. David held the door open. She stepped inside cautiously, clutching his coat tightly, as if even this small act of kindness might vanish. David followed, and as the door closed, he couldn't shake the feeling that this chance encounter was about to change everything. The cafe was almost empty, save for an elderly man reading a newspaper in a corner, and a young couple whispering over steaming mugs. The room was enveloped in warmth, the scent of coffee and baked bread cutting through the winter chill. David led the woman to a